咁咧我哋咧就會係啦，咁我哋咧就會有個 small introduction 啦，咁就係簡單介紹一下學制啊，嗰啲嘅情況啊等等啦，咁然後咧就會交個時間咧係俾兩個學校嘅，係啦，首先咧第一間學校會介紹佢哋嘅學校咧，咁係 Nicky 嘅 Burgess 啦，第二間咧就係Vlad 嘅St. Francis College 嘅。So I was just saying that I'll first introduce a little bit on the general education and the United Kingdom first, and then I'll pass the time to, first of all, to Nicky from Burgess, and then Vlad from St. Francis College. 係啦，咁你各位家長，如果你係需要係有啲 one-to-one 嘅 session 嘅，咁你可以咧你有問題嘅，咁完咗一間學校，你可以問嗰間學校啦。另外咧，你就可以咧同我哋會有一個one-to-one 嘅 session 咧，係可以同我哋 request 嘅。咁你喺個 chat box 嗰度咧打1就係 Burgess Hill， 2就係St. Francis 啦，1係 Burgess Hill， 2係St. Francis 啦。咁咧你同我哋講，或者咧你可以 WhatsApp 我哋嘅。咁然後咧，你 WhatsApp 咗我哋咧，我哋就會安排你入去嗰個房間嗰度，咁同學校咧去1對1見面嘅啦。So parents and students, if you like to have one-to-one session with the school, please comment on the chat box or send us a WhatsApp. If you type 1, you will go to see Nicky of Burgess Hill. If you type 2, you will see Vlad and St. Francis College. If you type 1 and 2, we'll arrange you in 2 time slot to see both of them, but in of course separate rooms. 係啦，咁樣，咁你事不宜遲咧，我哋就正式開始啦。So I'll start the seminar now. 係啦，咁首先咧，好多家長咧入到嚟咧，其實都會問其實咧有唔同嘅國家嘅大學嘅優勢啊，有咩入學要求？點解要揀中學咧？咁呢個係其中一個原因啦。咁另外咧就係有啲人咧會諗我諗住 BNO 過去嘅喎，咁究竟呢啲學校收唔收 BNO？ 你可以問佢哋啦。咁另外咧究竟佢哋嘅學制、佢哋嘅課程其實係大概講啲乜嘢嘢啦？究竟乜嘢科先係啱你自己？又或者應該咁講啦 ，GCSE 或者 A Level 究竟應該要點揀科啦？報名有啲咩要準備啦？另外當然可以問下佢哋你仲有冇位啊咁樣嘅。好，咁咧其中一個最大嘅原因咧就係有啲同學咧揀英國嘅學校啦。咁如果係 direct 嘅 entry 嘅話咧，如果 HADSE 過去咧，咁可能要攞啲5星啊、5星啦。我哋今年有學生攞到 Imperial 嘅 offer 啦，要2個5星啦。我舊年有學生係入咗劍橋要3個5星啊咁樣。咁如果你話我本身都冇呢啲嘅成績，但係我又唔係好想即係中文啊、通識啊呢啲科又特別弱啦，又擔心我計分唔知點計啦，亦都擔心即係香港依家又突然間提前放暑假，跟住啲課程又教唔晒咧，咁等等呢啲咧都係一啲去英國讀書嘅隱憂。不過最大個原因咧就係因為本身你 DSE 嗰個成績咧，擔心直接入唔到啲好好嘅英國嘅學校啦，係啦。咁有啲同學本身都係啲4433呢啲嘅情況嘅，咁如果4433呢啲位置嘅學生咧，其實你讀 A Level 咁就會加大到你入一啲出名嘅大學嘅機會嘅。咁當然啦，亦都係學科嘅問題啦。有啲學科例如係醫科，例如係即係牙醫啊、獸醫啊、醫科啊呢啲咧，或者係一啲物理治療啊呢啲，咁競爭都係比較激烈嘅學科咧。你讀 A Level 咧個成數係會高少少嘅。咁當然啦，其中一個最大嘅原因係因為譬如Physio 嘅 Foundation 咧，其實都會有學校係會有開辦，但係呢個位係非常之少，成日都好快滿啦咁樣嘅。咁另一個原因咧，點解要揀咧？就係因為咧揀錯科啊。咁咧好多同學咧，其實咧佢哋本身就會係可能本身香港你揀咗 Core Math 冇得俾你揀 M1 或者 M2。咁但係咧原來如果我喺英國，我要想讀一啲特別嘅學科，一定要有 M1 或者 M2 啊、Physics 啊、理科啊咁樣。咁有好多香港學生都有個誤解嘅就係香港唔需要喎，點解嗰度需要？咁大家其實個學制都唔同，咁所以人哋需要都係正常嘅。 咁英國中學有啲咩特別嘅好處啦？最主要就係第一，傳統啦。傳統嘅意思係咧，會訓練到你一個系統式嘅生活，即係會係話俾你知道咩時間應該做啲咩嘢啦，讀書要擺幾多時間落去等等啦。咁另外咧，亦都會好one to one 咁樣好多呢啲 one to one 嘅 session 啦。咁咧英國嚟講咧，最主要係用 GCSE 係等於香港中學會考啦 ，A level 就等於高考嘅，係啦。咁咧最好嘅優勢就係咧A level 係可以集中喺3至4個學科。咁咧有啲特別科目咧係會有呢一個科目上嘅要求㗎，例如係就係講啦 ，engineering 要 M2 啊 ，physics 啊 ，business 啊，一啲勁嘅學校 LSE Warwick 咁樣要 M2 啦。healthcare 嘅好多要 biochem， 如果你冇呢啲學科咧，咁你去 A level 咧就可以叫再揀個科啦咁樣，都係其中一個好好嘅原因去讀嘅。咁大概有個表啦，喺呢一度就話俾大家聽。原來你香港完成中一過去就中2、3，完成中2就中3、4。點解會咁樣嘅 range？原因係有啲學校咧佢睇歲數嘅，咁要跳一班嘅啦。公立學校絕大部分都係呢一種。咁如果你私校嘅，理論上完咗中2就讀中3，完咗中3就讀中4啦。咁但係公立學校要睇埋歲數咧，就未必咁樣噶啦。咁中4咧就會好尷尬嘅。中4過去，如果你去公立嘅話咧，就要你讀中6睇歲數，但係咧你又冇 GCSE， 佢又唔收你。咁如果你過去讀中5咧，就1年制 GCSE 啦。如果你公立學校1年要讀一個 full GCSE 就好麻煩嘅。咁如果係你 repeat 中4咧，咁嗰個歲數又有問題喎。咁所以中4就比較尷尬嘅位置嚟嘅。一啲比較大嘅 intake 咧係中1、中3啊、中5過去啦，咁比較多學校會收嘅。咁一啲比較難搞嘅 intake 就係中4啦。有啲咩需要注意嘅咧？包括係學校嘅成績啦，好多學生都會問嘅。包括佢 A level 嘅成績應該係點樣樣啦？譬如佢嘅價錢啦，佢個學校嘅 size 啦。學校嘅 size 係咩意思咧？除咗佢係嗰個佔地幾大之外咧，咁其實咧最重要係有幾多個學生啦。譬如佢係200-300人嘅，我哋叫細校啦。500-600人嘅中 size 啦，過千嘅就係大 size 嘅學校啦。咁學校嘅 size 有咩影響啊？咁你可以睇翻學校嘅 size 同 international student 嘅 ratio 同埋 boarding school 嘅 ratio 有啲咩玄機喺呢度可以睇到咧？咁如果學校 size 係好大，個 international student ratio，let's say 佢1000人嘅學校，然後咧佢個 international student ratio 係10%，即係100啦。boarding 原來咧佢係有300人嘅，咁即係話個 boarding house 裏面咧可能有200人咧係非國際學生，即本地學生。咁嘅話咧，你喺個 boarding house 上面咧就會有啲英國仔啦，我哋叫做或者英國妹啦。今日係女校嘅日子啊嘛，咁樣就可以即係叫做有啲外國嘅人喺度，咁你個加強你個溝通啦。咁但係咧文化上面可能就要適應喎。咁有啲學校唔係嘅，有啲學校咧可能學校係500人，佢個 boarding ratio 係80%，即係有400個人係寄宿嘅。咁即係話咧，差唔多全校都寄宿晒咧，咁學校裡面嘅關係就會好好啦。咁有啲咧就通常咧就未必一定係咁樣嘅，有啲可能係500個學生啦全校，然後咧大概10% 國際學生，即係50個。咁 boarding house 係50嘅話咧，咁即係話 boarding house 上面咧絕大部分都係國際學生啦。咁咧呢啲數字咧，其實我哋會睇到究竟間學校係大概咩境況啦，你都可以sniff 到嘅。係啦，另外學校有啲咩課外活動啦，學校所在嘅地區喺邊度啦，呢啲都係可以值得注意嘅。尤其是如果你諗住日後有機會 BNO 啦，或者係可能你考慮天氣啊等等咁樣。係啦，咁咧今日嘅 schedule 咧會係第一個學校咧就會係 Burgess 會講先啦，然後第二個學校咧係聖 Francis 嘅，兩間咧都係一啲好好嘅女校嚟嘅。咁其中咧Burgess 係我細妹讀過嘅一間學校啦。咁係一間都好純樸嘅女校。聖 Francis 咧傳統以嚟咧成績就非常之好嘅，係啦。咁其實咧兩間學校咧就各有特色啦。咁留翻學校介紹佢哋學校嘅時候咧，就再同你講。咁但係如果你話我需要去同 Burgess 去傾嘅，咁你記得喺個 chat box 嗰度撳1號。咁另外聖 Francis 嘅係2號啦。咁下面咧有個小嘅地圖啦，咁樣。咁咧就 大概啦，篤個位置嘅啫。係啦，大概篤個位啫。So Nikki and Vlad, forget me if I plot it slightly, differ to what the actual location is because the dot is quite big. But I think it's accurate enough to describe the area and the approximate location. 係啦，咁咧嗰個plot 咧就大概係大概嘅啫。咁St Francis 咧，佢就大概咧喺 London 以北啦，咁喺 Hertfordshire 嘅即係 Hertfordshire 郡，喺一個 Letchworth 嘅一個地方啦。咁其實都係一啲有錢人區嚟嘅。咁 Burgess Hill 咧就大概咧係喺去 Brighton 嘅途中 ，London Brighton 嘅中間啦。咁係向南嘅，一個南一個北。其實兩間學校咧都叫做都好近倫敦啦。去 London 咧depends on 你係搭咩嘢或者去到 London 嘅邊度啦。其實半個鐘9個字都會到㗎啦。9個字左右嘅時間都會到㗎啦。咁如果揸車就會耐啲，會塞車。咁另外咧，佢哋其實譬如 Burgess Hill 啦，落 Brighton 其實都好方便嘅。咁兩個都係近 London， 即係如果你話我諗住喺 London 附近，又唔想距離機場太遠，又想揾學校嘅話咧，咁兩間都係一個好好嘅地方嚟嘅。咁另外咧兩個地方咧，其實嗰個周邊嘅環境啦，嗰個家長嘅即係家庭嘅區域啊等等咧，咁其實都係好純都幾好嘅區域嚟嘅，咁所以都係大家值得留意啦。係啦，咁咧我嘅部分咧就大概就完啦。咁咧嚟緊嘅時間咧就將會係交俾Nikki 啦，係 Burgess Hill 嘅。So Nikki, I've just very brief to describe Burgess Hill.
Thank you.
And then I'll stop sharing and then I'll pass the time to you to introduce Burgess Hill School for the students and parents here. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just share my screen. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that okay. Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you very much, John. So good evening, everyone. I am Nikki Johnson. I am the Assistant Head Pastoral and Head of Boarding at Burgess Hill Girls. And hopefully this evening, I'm going to give you a flavour of the school in general and, of course, boarding life. So in terms of who we are an independent day and boarding school, obviously girls only. We've got a nursery right through to the sixth form. So we very much see ourselves as a whole school, but particularly boarding, we have from year 7 through to the upper 6, so 11 to 18. We've got 470 pupils in total, 56 of which who board. So for us, it's quite a small boarding community. That potentially makes up about 12% of the day school. So you're looking at probably 2, maybe 3 international students per class, which means they get a fully immersive experience. Whilst we are academically selective, we don't kind of cream off that top 10% of students. For us, it's about looking for students who have potential, students who are going to come and take lots of opportunities and really kind of, as I said, immerse themselves in that kind of British boarding school life. We are a highly creative school, so fine art, textiles, and obviously music and drama. We have a biannual production, so we've just done Made in Dagenham, and we try and do that as close to a West End production as possible. So we buy in the musicians and the set, and it really is, fantastic to give that opportunity to such a talented wealth of students that we have here. We've been 100% A-star A in art for the past, I think, about 4 years now. So as I said, highly creative. Fantastic location. I know John's just obviously briefed you in terms of where we are, but we are in the southeast of England. We're about 10 minutes north of Brighton, which is fantastic because we've got the coastline, We've obviously got the great countryside of the South Downs, and you can be in London in about 40 minutes. And I'll talk you through the location again a little bit in the next few slides. Pastoral care for us is, again, a really important aspect of the school. That kind of holistic education. We have a wellbeing program within school and a specific wellbeing program in boarding. So ensuring that the kind of support network is around the students from the moment that they arrive. And again, I'll talk to you a little bit about the specific induction program that we have for our boarding students. Obviously, outstanding higher education. I'll talk to you a little bit about the sixth form shortly. And career support again, so making sure that students are able to kind of make a really measured decision about those next stages of their life. Obviously, outstanding education for girls. And in terms of value for money, we are very competitive, especially as we're quite densely populated in the southeast here. So in terms of kind of what the girls get from the experience, obviously is really important in terms of how we market ourselves. So in terms of location, we are obviously 10 minutes north of Brighton. It puts us 20 minutes from Gatwick Airport, about an hour from Heathrow, about 40 minutes from London Victoria, and about 50 from King's Cross. So we have actually a train station which is 2 minutes walk from the school. So in terms of where we are and how we can facilitate those transport opportunities, obviously also I know how much the girls love to head up to London and get the kind of experience of the life as well, which is fantastic. So in terms of the aims and vision of the school, we look for, I guess, 4 things. So it's about spark, spirit, strength, and success. So we really champion those students as individuals, and we want students to feel that throughout their experience, they are going to feel like aspirational and make sure that they take on board all those opportunities that are offered to them. So we have a bespoke program which runs from year 5 right through to year 8, really working on those soft skills that employers are really looking for. And then we also have the BOLD program. So the BOLD program is specific to the sixth form. So it is the current offering for the BOLD program is 3 A-levels, plus everyone does the extended project qualification. And then there are lots of different leadership opportunities, lots of Viva interviews. Again, it's about building on those soft skills that we've previously, hopefully, if they've come through the school, worked on with them. Obviously, hopefully, the students will then leave us with a lot of confidence, a lot of self-belief. Obviously, being a girls' school, you don't have those kind of real gendered stereotypes towards certain subjects. So obviously, you know, hopefully a determination to succeed in whatever they want to do is really important to us. And we do have lots of partnerships with local nurseries, other secondary schools, which again gives different opportunities to work and volunteer and give something back to the community, which is again a really important aspect of the school for us. Obviously, we want to be able to have those high quality staff delivering those passionate subjects to your daughters, but also making sure that there is a balance between your daughter's academic work and everything else that we want to be able to get involved with. We don't want students to just come over and their academic work be their ultimate focus. It's about striking a balance and ensuring that, you know, they are getting involved with other things which are on offer. And I'll talk to you again a bit about our extracurricular program as well. As I said, we have got some students as well in our prep school. We have got some students over on BNO visas, so they've got they have that parents get that experience of the prep school and what that journey looks like into the senior school. So ensuring those kind of early years education solid foundation is there. And we really encourage a mutually supportive community. So I think the most important thing for us is, especially now, we're able to go back to as many in-person events as possible, because that community aspect, when parents ask me what is the community, and the warmth of the community as well. So obviously we are encouraging both a highly academic program, but also that kind of personal care where possible. But again, we want students to be able to come over and get involved with what we're offering. We offer a 3-year GCSE program, so year 9 through to year 11. We found that actually more so of our international students have definitely found that 3-year GCSE program as an advantage, because it's kind of given them, if they've come in year 9, that kind of year to settle, a transition year before they really got into the kind of nuts and bolts, if you like, of the GCSE come towards the end of year 9, moving into year 10. And as I said previously, we really encourage that community outreach. We've also developed partners with local businesses, again, to kind of try and find those links for particularly the 6th form at this stage. We run a networking dinner which links students with somebody out of that industry in hope that they are going to get some work experience. So again, that careers advice, kind of seeing them through to the point which they leave us. So I just thought I would share a little bit about the admissions process for us. So it's entry at year 7, year 8, year 9 and year 12. We may consider year 10 entry in exceptional circumstances, but we have to consider that, you know, students may have missed a whole year of the GCSE course. So obviously, usually it's either an agent who usually approaches us or the parent directly. And it's then a registration form, obviously with the passport, birth certificate and the last school reports. And then we do entrance exams. We don't accept UKSET here, so where you would have to sit either an EAL paper and a maths paper and also the CAT 4 test. And then students would have an interview, usually with me. And then at that point, we work out whether we would make you an offer or not. So I just thought it was worth talking you through the process, because I know all schools may be slightly different in how they do these things. And of course, you are welcome to visit us at any point. We do have each term a 2-week open week, which you're obviously, if you're able to, visit us then. But as I say, you can visit us at absolutely any point. And I just thought it was also just worth popping up there. We can send all this information afterwards, but I just thought it was worth just popping up our fees. There are some students who have weekly boarded with us as well, when their parents have still been working out how they've kind of been relocating back. And obviously, if students coming over on a BNO visa and are day students, obviously the day school fees are up there as well as the boarding. So in terms of our A-level results, obviously the last couple of years we've not sat formal examinations, but as you can see, you know, our students have still achieved extremely well, with 91.3% A star to B and 73.8% at A star A, 100%, as I said previously, in art. And the EPQ, so the extended project qualification, which is worth half an A-level, is a really important part of that BOLD programme for the 6th form. And usually what we find is universities will lower their offer if students have already got the A star or A in their EPQ. And those results usually come in around January time, December, January time. Okay, in terms of GCSEs, so 77% of all exams graded 7 to 9, which is in old money, the A star A's. Obviously, I did say creative subjects are a really strong aspect of the school, so 100% 7 to 9 in the creatives, and obviously languages and the STEM subjects, so science, technology. On average for us at the beginning, I said it was about students who have the potential to achieve and work hard. It's not about where they're at that point of entry. So for us, girls usually achieve at least 1 grade higher when they join us than what their baseline indicated. So really for us, that value added is really important aspect. So the Good Schools Guide rated us 5-star, consistent performance at GCSE and A-level, and we are listed as one of the top 20 boarding schools in the UK. Obviously, I know that popular university destinations is always something that parents are looking, making sure that obviously students go to their first choice university. 100% of students who applied to university last year, which I think was everybody bar 2 students who decided to take a gap year for us in 6th form, they all went to their first choice university. They all got their offer. This year we have, I think it's 5 students who've got offers from Oxbridge, which really is fantastic as well. So in terms of the extra co-curricular programme, so of course we do the usual, sport, drama, art, music, textiles. Sport, we also do things like ski racing. We've got an equestrian team. You're also looking at things like badminton and volleyball as really popular here. But we also make sure that we are catering for every individual. So we run astronomy, public speaking and debating is very competitive here, and we just took part in the Oxford Schools regional debating as well over the weekend. Engineering education schemes, so we're part of, and we also take part in the Maths and Science Olympiads as well. So making sure that even if students aren't really sporty or erring on the side of being a performer, there is always something for students to get involved in, and they change each term. So there's usually about 50 or so clubs on offer, and then each term there's again a different opportunity. So maybe it's about coming and trying something new that you haven't tried before. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about boarding. So we've got the 2 boarding houses here. So we've got 2 boarding houses. One on the right is actually on site, and the one on the left is just over the road from the school. So you have Silverdale House and Avondale there. Obviously 2 traditional Edwardian houses, and actually they are due for refurbishment this summer. I know that obviously most people are looking potentially for a boarding place, but as I said, we do have students already here with us on BNO visas as well. So if you are looking for boarding school, then we did some research a few years ago, and we really wanted to make sure that we are catering for our international students. So the timings of us actually responding to our parents, we have definitely improved that, and the parents actually now have the like a WhatsApp number for the boarding house staff. So if you want an immediate response to something, then you can have it. We don't actually have exeats anymore. We got rid of the optional exeat weekends because we knew that actually financially and also for the students' well-being, they were going off to maybe, quite a far away from the school, only for maybe 1 or 2 nights and then having to return. So in terms of exeats, there is 1 exeat weekend and that is in the summer term. It's actually over one of the bank holiday weekends for us, but all the rest of the weekends, they're absolutely optional. If you want students to go to Guardians, then that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, then we'll remain open, and usually most of our boarding community choose to stay. Again, we wanted to have greater contact and information, so there is a monthly newsletter that goes out to all parents, and we wanted to make sure, obviously, that you knew what your girls were up to when they were with us. So having that greater contact with us, and obviously us sharing that information was an improved aspect, and that personal contact where possible. So before each student starts, you can have as many Zoom interviews with myself or the head over that summer period, because I know, especially over the last couple of years, there have been lots of questions that you've wanted to ask, and actually having a Zoom interview has been so much easier to be able to answer all of your questions and hopefully alleviate some of your worries before you've arrived in the UK. Obviously that academic support is there from the outset, but the teachers here it's about that community and relationships. They are great at helping students, and we'll let you know probably before students start to say, I'm actually finding this really difficult. Wellbeing provision in boarding. So within the enrichment program, which runs throughout the boarding house in the evenings and at the weekends, there is a wellbeing provision to that, to make sure that students are well supported and well cared for, and also to do, you know, some fun activities within that as well. So in terms of the success for obviously parents, pupils and the school, again, one change that we made a few years ago was that we have a full induction week prior to the school starting. So this usually happens the last week of August. We run an arrival hub, and there is a presentation from parents from myself. The arrival hub is a really great way for you to obviously, you probably just come straight from the airport. You can come, you can sit with us, you can meet the senior team, you can meet the house staff, and you can actually, you know, see who'll be looking after your children, and also making sure that we've got all of those bits of paperwork from you from the outset. And again, you're able to ask any of those questions that you've got at that point. Then usually the students go off and they do an orienteering challenge in Brighton. We also, as part of that induction, do another baseline assessment to make sure that students either know whether they're going to have a group or an individual lesson in terms of support if they need it with their EAL, and also to make sure that they feel confident in asking for help, going through some command words. We'll go through some survival language, so as when they go off into Burgess Hill, they may be able to ask for directions and things like that. So it's as much as possible making sure that students kind of don't feel that culture shock when they arrive in the UK. We usually head up to London and have a theatre trip. Students also have what we call the dining experience with our chef. I know that sometimes the boarders will always say the food just isn't quite the same in the UK that it is at home, but we do our best in order to make sure that we're catering for all nationalities. So our chef will do lots of different kind of tasting menus, and the girls will be able to vote, you know, for which dish was their favourite. So that's the dining experience. We then usually have a 3-day weekend where we head off and we do some kind of activity, helping students to kind of be supportive of each other as a community, and also push themselves out of the comfort zone as well. And then we do a treasure hunt around school. It's my office, whether they know, you know, can they get to the library, for example, all those kind of key points, but we make it as fun as possible. And then there's coupled with that, there's lots of in-house activities to make sure that students don't feel any homesickness. and really feel like they have settled into that boarding community before they start school with the rest of the day girls. And then finally, I just thought it would be good just to pop a few obviously testimonials from students that we've had. I'll just let you read through those. Okay, and our head couldn't be here today, but do follow her, Liz Laybourne, on Twitter, and you can also follow the boarding Twitter as well. And again, it will give you a good flavour of the school. So I will stop sharing my screen now, and I believe we are going to take some questions.
Thank you, Nikki, for your presentation. Thank you. And 嗱，各位家長同埋學生啦，咁其實如果你有問題即刻想問 Nikki 嘅，咁你可以問啦，又或者咧可以咧你打個1字，咁啊之後咧完咗之後咧，我哋可以 split a room 嚟單對單咁樣問佢都得嘅，係啦。咁如果有問題嘅，你而家係都可以問嘅。Sorry, Nikki, I've got a question through WhatsApp. They are asking how many girls are in one room when they are boarding?
Sure. So our boarding houses are configured, so where possible, own room, depending on how many students we've got, and other students are probably sharing in a 2 or a 3.
Sorry, the first part is a little bit lackish. So, so 2 or 3 in a room, or 1 in a room if they request?
We don't have a huge, so our boarding houses aren't configured, I guess, like, you know, brand new, you know, purpose-built houses for boarding. So where possible, we try and give a 6th former their own room. They share with maybe 1 other person. Lower down the school, we want actually the girls to share, because again, it helps that community element of our school. So year 7, year 8, year 9, you're probably going to share in a 2 or a 3 dorm.
OK， 係啦，咁啱啱就問咗佢 boarding house 係幾多人一間房啦。咁咧7、8、9即係低年級咧，其實就要同人哋 share 嘅。咁咧就高年級咧，尤其是 A level 啦，咁啊盡可能都係1個人一間房啦。如果做唔到嘅咧，都係2個人一間房咁樣樣嘅。OK， I've got another question down here. So apart from the Cat 4 test, do you look into IELTS?
So we would always ask that students would sit our EAL paper as well. So you do our EAL paper, our maths paper, and the Cat 4 as part of our admissions process. But if you've obviously sat the IELTS, obviously submit all of that and we would take it into consideration.
Okay, but that doesn't take away the fact that they still need to do the EAL paper.
Yeah, it doesn't take that away. No, it's just part of the admissions process. Yeah.
Okay， 係啦，咁咧佢就啱講咗啦，一般咧學校嘅安排咧都係考試咧都係數學啦、英文卷啦呢2份卷加埋一個叫 Cat 4嘅試卷啦，3份 paper。咁咧冇，就算考咗 IELTS 都需要再考翻即係都係要考呢啲 paper 嘅。Sorry, Nikki. Sorry. Because one of the parents just dropped me questions. She was asking that if for year 12 admission, if they want to take particular subjects, do they need to take the subject test as well for entrance?
No subject test, just still the same for AL and maths usually, and the or test, yeah. But there's not a different subject specific ones, no. As part of the Skype interview, I would talk to them about the kind of subject combinations that they're choosing and their specific interests in those, and maybe what career they're thinking of going on, just to make sure again that they're choosing the right subjects.
OK， 係啦，咁啱啱佢講咗咧，就係咧 for A level 嘅學生啦，咁就唔需要係即係唔需要考啲特別嘅科目嘅，即係譬如如果就算你想讀譬如 Physics 咁樣啦，有啲學校要考噶嘛，咁佢哋就唔需要再考嘅，係啦，咁樣咯。咁 sorry， just let me just double check.
That's okay.
其他家長有冇問題咧？定係想留翻喺 breakout room 嗰度問咧？好，如果暫時冇問題咧，咁我哋就俾剩翻數。So thank you for that, Nikki, for the Q&A. I think no more parents just popping any more questions for now.
That's
If
fine,
they have any further questions, they will leave a message to us, or they will put in a chat box or WhatsApp us to say number 1 and then to see you in person. So so Vlad, off to you to introduce St. Francis College. Thanks for your patience and waiting, and please introduce us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Good afternoon, everyone. I will start sharing my screen now. Can you see the presentation? Well, I hope you can see my screen now. So welcome to St. Francis College. My name is Vlad Butin, and I'm in charge of marketing at St. Francis College. We're always happy to welcome visitors to our school, and I know that now it's not so easy because of all the travel restrictions. So I will try to just show you some images of the school and talk about the location of St. Francis, and just little quirky things when we're talking about more serious, important things for your children. It is not easy to travel, as I said, but hopefully you will be able to think that you are in Letchworth now, and Letchworth is the world's first garden city, and that's where we are. So this is the main building of the school, and it is quite compact. So the boarding house is located over the top 2 floors, which is quite convenient actually for many, especially younger students, because they feel that the whole building becomes their home away from home. And if the weather is not nice, obviously this is a beautiful image and the weather is great when we were taking this photo, but sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's a bit windy here and a bit cold, but they don't have to go outside to have their breakfast or brunch over the weekend. They just go downstairs, and all the socially important parts of the school, they are located within the main school building. So as I said in the beginning of my presentation, we are located in Letchworth, which is the world's first garden city. And most of our students say that they live in a park when they talk to their parents. So the location of the school is really, really fantastic. The whole town becomes their home. And the train station is located just here. So it's about 7 to 10 minutes walk from the school. And we see that there is a growing number of B&O families who relocate to North Hertfordshire. And we are very conveniently located for public transport. So this is the train station in Letchworth. We have a very wide network of school coaches, and obviously there are public buses as well that they can take to come to school. The distance to all the major destinations in central England, you can see them here. So we are right in between London and Cambridge, and we are located on the same train line. Our Letchworth is located on the same train line that takes you from London King's Cross into Cambridge. So it's roughly about 40 minutes from London, 30 minutes from Cambridge, and Heathrow Airport is about 50 minutes drive from the school. So I think for many families who are thinking about coming to live in the UK, this is a fantastic place. We know that there is a growing Hong Kong community in Milton Keynes as well. We have a lot of students who have aunts and uncles or family members who live in Milton Keynes. And many of these students, they become weekly boarders or flexi boarders, and they just go home to their relatives for the weekends. So we are very flexible. We have a very flexible approach to admissions, and we're trying to work with every family on an individual basis, and just trying to help as much as we can, especially for those children who are thinking to come to live in the UK for the first time. We have very small class sizes, so that's why we can give this wraparound care to every child. And before they come to us, we're trying to find out as much as possible about the family background, about what their aspirations for the future is, what they want to achieve in the future, where they want to study. And it is always a great pleasure for us to welcome families when they're visiting the school. So overall, we start taking girls into school from the age of 3. We're an all-through school, and they study here until the end of 6th form. We have boarding and flexi boarding options. They start from the age of 10, from year 6. And as I mentioned before, pupils can become weekly boarders. They can just have an ad hoc a couple of days boarding if their families are here, or they may be full boarders. We have outstanding academic results, and our students progress to the best universities in the country. You can see that the results are really, really good, but we achieve the results, but by not making them compete against each other and fight for these results, but by giving them extra support, help and care from every member of school staff so they can achieve those results. And we're always in the top 20 UK boarding schools for girls for A-level results, but we are also one of the best schools for value added, for what they come with to us and what they get at the end, what we achieve for the students when they finish their school course. The absolute majority of our students progress to the best universities in the country, in the UK and worldwide. And 100% of our 6th formers, they go to study in the first choice university, and we really help them to achieve those aims with the help from the head of 6th form and every teacher in the school. And between 20 and 25% of our 6th formers get offers from Oxford and Cambridge, which is a fantastic result, of course. I think the proximity to Cambridge helps us as well. Our 6th formers have an opportunity to attend different events that are organized by the university and colleges in Cambridge. And probably just by visiting Cambridge, even when they're younger, it helps them to with their final choice of university, because the feel of being in Cambridge is very special. Here you can see a list of universities where our students progress to, and there is a very wide selection. And sometimes we hear from parents a very straightforward and important question for them. What are your main subjects? What are your specialities? Or what is the best subject you can offer to our children? And the answer is, it is very difficult to say, because we have very good results across the board. And the answer is that we will work with every child in order to achieve the best possible outcomes for them in their future. We have a fantastic art department. We have a fashion show that is a recycled fashion show that takes place in our theatre. and it happens every October. So the girls prepare for it, and they perform on stage of the theatre, and it is really a major event that is attended by many local people as well. Coming to boarding, as I mentioned in the beginning of presentation, our boarding house is located over the top 2 floors of the main building. So it is a very compact boarding house and very easy and convenient to get to at any time, even if the weather is not great. We have small rooms. We don't have big dormitories. And depending on the age, you will be sharing with the maximum of 3 girls in a room. That's when you're aged 10 to 12, probably. And then the majority of students would be in twin rooms, sharing with another girl. And most sixth formers will be in single rooms unless they want to share with a friend. So the rule is that sixth formers would get an individual room, and further down the line, younger aged girls would be sharing. And the rooms are of 2 main different types. So you can see this is slightly newer furniture that was chosen by our boarders, that they want more modern white furniture that has bigger wardrobes and bigger storage space. And this is more traditional wooden furniture that is being replaced, and it's on a constant program of being replaced in all the rooms. So most rooms will be like this, but we still have some rooms that are looking a little bit more traditional. We have very good facilities in the school, and we have an indoor heated swimming pool, and most boarders would have at least two swimming lessons a week in our swimming pool, unless they don't want to do swimming. But I think the biggest asset we have in terms of special facilities and special features of the school is our classical Western style theatre. All girls who want to put everything they learn in theory in drama, music, performing art, dance, they have an opportunity to do that on the stage of our professional theatre. So this is just a photo, but I would also encourage you to go on our website, and there is a special button on the right-hand side where you can choose school videos, and the top video is our new school film, and it's only 2 minutes long, but it's staged completely and entirely on the stage of our theatre. So you have a fantastic opportunity to see how it's being used, and just to have a feel of the theatre at St. Francis. We offer all traditional sports, as most schools would do, but I think, as I mentioned before, swimming is probably the biggest special sport that we offer. Again, looking at the location where we are not in isolation from the facilities of Letchworth Town, and Letchworth is quite compact, safe, and lovely. So we always encourage our students, if they need to use any extra special facilities, sports facilities or art facilities or anything, we have an opportunity to use the facilities of Letchworth, and they're all in walking distance from the school. We also know that in the UK, the situation with COVID continues to improve, and on the government level, there are no more restrictions, and it's basically just people's choice and their common sense that they need to take into account when they decide whether they want to do an activity or not. What we have decided at St. Francis is that we listen to our students, and especially our boarders who come from overseas. And we know that in many countries, the situation with COVID is still quite acute, and many families feel really concerned by COVID numbers that are not falling yet in some countries. So what we have decided is that we will continue our COVID protection measures in the school. It will be a personal choice of the students, but we encourage everyone to continue wearing face masks in all the communal areas. we limit numbers in bigger events, especially in the theatre. We observe social distancing as well. And obviously, we will continue with all special cleaning measures, and we will pay extra attention to the needs of students who are coming directly from overseas, from other countries where the situation with COVID is different to the situation in the UK. So we just want to make sure that parents feel that we understand their concerns, and we will address the concerns of the students when they come to us as well. So just a couple of slides recapping on what I try to tell during the presentation is why would you choose St. Francis College? First, probably it's the academic results and the academic achievements of our students. It's a very, very caring and homely environment and personal attention to every student. And it's not just teaching staff, it's everyone who works at the college and who meets the students when they come here for the first time. We welcome all the parents, and we really try to make them feel at home. The location is absolutely fantastic, and we offer a full integration in traditional British school environment. The absolute majority of our students are British girls. We never have more than 15% international students among the school body. And from day one, we try to make sure that the girls are integrated extremely well in the life of the school. We encourage them to make friends. We offer an opportunity to celebrate birthdays together. It happens all the time that the boarders invite their day friends into the boarding house to celebrate their holidays. We also encourage the diverse approach to the school community, and we have students in the boarding house and in the day school who have families of different backgrounds. We celebrate different holidays. We celebrate different communities as well. And once a year, we have a special community day, which is mainly the International Day, when day pupils have different backgrounds. They dress in their in the costumes of the countries where their parents come from. And it's a very colorful, bright day when we celebrate the community, the unity, but at the same time, the diverse backgrounds of our students. And finally, it's the support we give to overseas parents who need help with visa documents. So our visa sponsorship goes to boarding students and day students alike, and we welcome families who come to the UK on B&O passports. I think that I just try to make it as brief as possible. As I said during my presentation, we always encourage visitors to come to see us at the school, because it is very difficult to feel what it's like to be at a school when you're just seeing some images or videos and you have no opportunity to come and visit. And I know that this year is still going to be difficult and not as easy as before. But if you have family members or friends who are based in the UK and they can come and visit us, please do let us know. They don't have to wait for a special day. They don't have to wait for an open day. They can come anytime. Just get in touch. We will arrange a meeting with the headmistress, a meeting with teachers, and they will have a school tour. And I think this will give you an opportunity to have somebody you know and you trust come here to us and give you direct feedback from the UK. Well, thank you very much. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have questions.
Thank you very much for that. And 各位家長係啦，如果你有想問題喺呢度問咧，你可以喺 chat box 或者 WhatsApp 我哋或者開麥問啦。如果唔係咧，其實咧你哋可以打喺個 chat box 嗰度啦，或者 WhatsApp 我哋咧一就係去 Nicky 嘅 Burgess Hill 啦，二就係 Zach 嘅St. Francis 嘅。不過咧喺呢個之前咧，我有啲提問想問啊。But sorry, I've got question from parents. Can you show us the boarding and day student fee for particular senior school?
Yes, yes, of course. I don't have it on presentation, and the fees are on the website, but I can tell you the fee, which is 11,540 per term for full boarding, and 6,080 for a day student. But I can definitely share a link with full list of fees then that you can just share with all the parents after we finish.
Okay, thank you. 係啦，咁咧佢嗰個學費方面啦，咁就係11,000幾磅一個學期啦。如果係 boarding，咁另外咧就係6,000幾磅咧，就係 for 日校嘅學生嘅。咁英國嘅學費咧，如果你要睇一睇咧，咁通常咧佢哋係3個 term 嘅，即係話咧你個學費你要乘3，即係11,000幾啦。咁你乘咗3之後咧，係34,000，大概34,000幾、35,000樓下左右嘅錢啦。咁呢個就係佢1年嘅費用。咁通常咧就唔包一啲嘅通常就唔包一啲。譬如學費sorry， 通常都唔包，譬如校服啊嗰啲嘢，通常要自己帶電腦啦，係啦。咁日校嘅話咧就係放咗學咧就要翻屋企㗎啦，係啦，咁樣。Sorry, but I've got a question from another one. So for day school, I mean for BNO students, is there any location restriction on where you prefer the student to live? For example, because the particular parent is looking to relocate to St. Albans. Is it quite workable?
Yes, absolutely. There is no restriction as such, because we even have some students who are day students coming from London, which is not ideal because probably for a daily commute is not that close. But yes, it does happen sometimes. But we have a growing number of students who are actually BNO passport holders who live in St. Albans. It's a growing Hong Kong community in St. Albans, and it is very easy accessible. We have a minibus that picks up students from St. Albans, and it is very quick to get here. The minibus that takes students from St. Albans, it just has one stop in St. Albans, and then it's direct to the school, and it takes about half an hour to come here, so about 30 minutes to come from St. Albans on a minibus. If you're driving, it is a little bit quicker. So we have some families who work in the area closer to the school, and they drop off their children in their cars, or it's a minibus. So it is very convenient to St. Albans. So no restrictions at all. We have a coach network and a minibus network that covers the radius of about 25 miles from where we are. So it is very convenient.
Okay, thank you. So sorry, I've got 2 more jot down here, but these 2 are for Burgess and St. Francis, both of you. And I've got one that family would like to ask. So if the kid would like to join GCSE, is it necessary to take foreign language as a second language, for example, French or other language to do GCSE? Maybe Black can go first.
Nikki, do you want to answer first?
Sure. That was really breaking up, so I'm really sorry. I only caught GCSE.
Okay. The question was, if they are to join in GCSE, is it necessary to take foreign language as one of the subjects, for example, French or other foreign language as a, as a requirement in GCSE?
Yeah, so we have got a real mixture. So sometimes what we do is we block our option choices of languages, and within that there might be an EAL tuition option. So you may, depending on your level of English, if it's really good and you've got experience previously of a modern foreign language, then it might be that you try it and see how you get on. Or it might be that when everybody else is studying French, German, Spanish, and we do Latin as well here, then you might go into and have your extra EAL tuition. So it's not necessarily a requirement, because we want to build the program around what the needs and wants are of the students.
Well, on our side, I have nothing to add. We are exactly the same. So we will work with the family. We will see what the level of English they currently have, and I think the EAL provision will depend on this. And normally, the head of EAL would assess the students before they come here, but also at the point when they are already in school and how they're coping with the rest of curriculum. And it is very likely that most of our overseas students would have extra EL tuition if they don't have an experience of another modern foreign language. But if they do, they're more than welcome to take French, Spanish, or German. So we will be extremely flexible. So the same answer.
Okay, so that takes a lot of ease for parents and students, because some of them thought that foreign language is a must for GCSE, but it's glad that you guys clarify that part. Final question from my part before we split out the rooms, because we have got parents wanting to see you individually. So final question is that I've got one parent asking, will it be two single sex at a single sex school? Will the girls be very hard to get social with boys afterwards after they went to the school?
No, I'm gonna go for this, because I'm really about this as a female. Just because students are going to an all-girls school, it does not mean that they are kind of deprived of that social skill with interacting with boys. When students come and actually get involved with such things, for example, debating, they actually are interacting with boys on that level. And also students here, they generate their own friendships with boys, due to things like social media and whatnot. So they don't actually need us to provide those formal opportunities, because they're able to create them themselves. And I think everyone always thinks boys are like this different thing to kind of interact with, and that's just not the case. If you're able to interact with, human beings, it doesn't mean that you won't have the confidence to do that with boys. Vlad, I'm really hoping you're going to back me up here.
Yeah, I will. I will also just say that, I completely understand why for some parents it is difficult to understand the concept of single sex. I personally come from a country where we don't have single sex schools at all. And I know that in many countries this is the case. I know that in mainland China, it is not a common occurrence that children would go to single sex schools. But in Hong Kong, most parents do understand it, because Hong Kong follows British system. And we work for many, many years. We work with Good Hope School in Hong Kong, which is a very good, outstanding school for girls. We welcome their summer program here in July. And we see that the girls develop quicker. And in a single-sex environment, girls have wider choice of subjects, and they don't have to look back at boys and wait until boys catch up during lessons. I know it sounds a little bit sexist probably from me, but because I am a man, I can say that hopefully boys develop a little bit slower than girls, and girls definitely, it is scientifically proven, there is a lot of research that girls develop much quicker and they get much better outcomes, and they progress much quicker through the school system and progress to the best universities when they are in a single-sex environment. There is no such proof for boys in a boys-only environment. Actually, boys probably develop in the same way in single-sex and in co-ed environments. But for girls, there is definitely scientific proof that they feel at ease when they're in a single-sex environment. But I have to say, completely agree that they're not isolated. It's not a convent school. Probably it used to be 50 or 60 years ago, but most girls' schools now have a lot of opportunities for girls to be integrated in a co-ed environment or with another boys' school in terms of sports, art, debating, modern United Nations, I don't know, so many different options. They're not sitting in a room and I don't know, sewing, or I don't know what they've done 50 or 60 years ago. So it's very, very different. It's just about learning. It's about learning at a faster pace and having the convenience of not probably being emotionally distracted sometimes, especially at sixth form level. So yeah, they're not in isolation. Fantastic, and plenty of opportunities to see boys at different levels, and it's just that academically they will definitely develop much better and quicker.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for covering that. 係啦，咁咧佢哋都大概都講咗一啲我之前都有啲家長問嘅問題啦。咁咧我哋就會而家咧就會將大家係分咗個房間嘅。咁我知道咧已經有家長係send 咗 message 俾我哋啦，咁就話想去邊間房。咁咧如果有其他嘅咁如果你都想繼續係留喺呢一度唔分房嘅，咁我係可以繼續同大家傾偈啦。如果唔係咧，就會同大家咧分翻房間㗎啦。好，咁咧就好啦。So we now start the breakout room section. So just please wait for that. Okay. 我想問，其實仲有冇其他問題咧？大家都可以問嘅。喺出面嗰度應該全部都係我哋嚟嘅，睇下先，Susanna。